Hi there, it's Martin Bailey here. Today I'm going to give you a quick demonstration to show you why I use manual exposure as opposed to exposure compensation, especially when I'm photographing the red-crowned cranes or the swans in Hokkaido on my winter wildlife tours, because they're big white birds over a white background, but sometimes they fly and they have a dark background, and trying to chase after them with exposure compensation just does not work, and I'll show you why. I was going to do this capturing my screen, but my video capture card from Basicolor, the HSV325, no longer works. Worked fine the last time I used it, no longer does. So I am going to do this with my iPhone. I am mic'd up, so you'll be able to hear me hopefully, but also note that I have a 3D print going off in the background here, so this is whirring away. I hope it doesn't disturb you too much. It's a 12-hour print, needs to be done today, so I have no option but to leave it running. So here we are, here's the camera. In the background I have a white piece of paper that represents my field of snow, and use your imagination to think that there is a white bird on there, same color. And if we are, just to show you this is what happens if we photograph it with no exposure compensation. Now that here's the histogram. You'll see that the data is in the middle towards the low side. Now if with the same settings, if I lower down a piece of black paper with the same settings, do another shot, haven't touched anything, you'll see that both shots are pretty much, there's a slight difference, but both shots are very much in the middle of the histogram. Now, what we can do, and this is essentially what I was asked the question. Let me turn some lights on here. It's getting dark as I'm doing this. There we go. So, okay, so what we can do is dial in +2 on the exposure compensation. So you see here I've just turned half press to activate this, and then used the dial on the back of the camera to go to +2. Now, if we take a photo with that, you can see that the data has come over almost to the right side. So our snow and our white bird will now be white. And that's fine. But what happens when that white bird flies and goes over a dark background? So here's our white bird, lens cleaning cloth, and the winter static will help us to get that stuck up there. Now, if with the same settings, if we make a photograph, you'll see that, so the histogram's still on the right side, but it shouldn't be. It's a dark background now. It's there because we told it that we wanted the exposure to be +2. And you see how, it's a bit difficult to see, but the white bird has gone supernova. And that is why you have to lock it down. If you wanted to do this by changing the exposure compensation on the fly as the bird jumps up or flies into the air, you have to take this down and to around maybe as low as -2, probably more like -1 1/3. But you'd have to do this very quickly, and your settings would depend on how big the bird is in the frame. The smaller it is, the more compensation you'd need to do. So here now, let's go back to the white screen. And what I normally do is I go to manual mode, and in manual mode, We'll leave the settings at the same. So 60th, this is indoors. It's not what I would use for this in the field. But indoors at a 60th of a second, f5.6, I'm using the ring on my camera to change the ISO until we've got +2. So again, it's +2, that's the same, but I'm basing this now on pointing my camera down at the snow. So it's just a field full of snow and I'm at +2. If we take a shot, you can see that again, like it was in exposure compensation, the image is exposed with the data over to the right, but now when our bird flies, if we shoot another image, the dark background is registering on the left side where it should be, and the bird is still close to the right side. So now we have a beautifully exposed bird on a black background. And that is the beauty of this. But look, see where, like I said, it's 1 1/3 down on exposure compensation. So if you want to use exposure compensation, you've got to chase that around as the action happens. I don't have to do anything. I just press the shutter button because it's all set up. The bird is still reflecting the same light. The only time I have to change my exposure is when the light changes. Works like a treat, and I've been shooting like this for almost 20 years now. I hope that helps you to understand why. So, selfie to finish. I just want to say thanks for watching. Sorry for the sort of shoddiness of not being able to do this by capturing the screen. It didn't go according to plan. But here we are. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. I'll be back next week with another podcast. See you there. Bye-bye.